Alrighty. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Azukai here. I'm going to be commentating for the 7th day of the Asia Division scoring phase for CBL. Unfortunately, it does look like we won't be able to watch it be BRG versus WAK, and also it does look like CJSH and HS are not going to go through. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but there are two matches going on right now. NOP versus URPB, sorry, and HJ versus MFLM. We're watching JH versus MFL LM on Hailong Fjord, with JH attacking first. Oh man, it just turns out my other one got cancelled as well. A lot of cancels. Anyway, taking a look at the lots of short sword and long swords going out for the sustained heavy classes, trying to survive. Lots of stalwarts, but a surprise pick would be definitely the Murmelones. The recent update to the Murmelones is definitely god tier. I think they are probably a shield breaker shield unit, so they break through shields better than Seregs, so hopefully we get to see them. I'm not sure if any of the teams have really discovered this. It's really imperative to make sure that you're keeping up to date with the updates to units in particular. There are some changes to the Shield Maidens. I am disappointed with the decision to not nerf them and instead double down on the Cover Commander switch to Sword mode. It is not particularly my place to determine what they should and should not do, but I woefully dislike anyone that convinced the developers otherwise, mainly because it defeats the purpose of Shield Maidens. They are essentially wasting 75% of their kit and are overloading it into one ability to achieve basically 90% of their performance. Nonetheless, we have a split assault, some going for the A gate and some going for the B gate. B gate, not really one I'd ever go to. An even split, I would say. Looking at probably 6 or so guys, and then 9 probably on the other side. Front gate, main gates on both sides, I think have been broken down. Don't go straight in. Falconetti gunners shooting down the wall. Very simple. Start. Does look like MFLM is not going to do a wall defense, or are they? They got a couple of guys. Just 2 units, not really a substantial number, but I don't know why they keep pulling units over towards the B side, making it look very weak there on the A side. And the wall on the B side is about to go down. I think one more shot from a Goldman will should do it. So Shield Maidens don't particularly do good against the shield walls and stuff. They're not particularly good at it, but they have one of the highest block breaks, I would say, in the category. Basic attacks really messing up the block of a lot of shields. Not even, well, I mean, let's be honest here. Shield Maidens have an unusually high amount of block break in Cover Commander, and their Spear mode with their Shield Bash does a lot of block break, so there's that. Pushing on towards all points, actually, pushing through that wall, pushing towards the A. A is very light on defense, could easily clean up this Varangian Guards and Stalwart combination with Medows and Varangian Guards up there. Oh, Varangian Guards kind of walk straight into cavalry right there. And now getting a little bit of a squish. Gonna take a real quick look at the other side, making more headway here on the B side, at the, to say the least. Breaks on through. Gonna have to switch those guys around and back to the A section. Gonna be very more interesting to see how the matchup played out. Does look like the cavalry has been pushed off. Ooh, we had a hero try to dive in for the back, and then he's at the back. Did get cleaned up by the looks of it. Not really numbers either side, but the assault at the B side is ongoing. Did look like they did win, in fact, coming in. We had some Zilladars coming out, whacking the Bastions, the Nafanga, Siphonatis. Strangely enough, there is the Cataphract that charged through, interrupting the supply point is a very good decision, but just realized more guys went through the A side, waiting for just the respawns right now, and rushing in with cavalry. Not a bad decision. MFLM is not really re-establishing themselves. Coming in, the short sword coming in with no support, probably just cannon fire. Oh my goodness! Look at those Chevalier's crossbows go. I think a good old sniper should about do it. Massive pull from MFLM now, but it's a little bit too late, I would say. They could do a desperate push, but it would be very costly for MFLM, depending on how JH really sets that up. And surprisingly, the Falconettis actually survive most of that, moving towards the supply point instead. Could see a couple models get taken out, but the unit will probably survive. Lots of cavalry out on the field. Anti-cavalry would probably be a great idea. It does see some halberdiers, Sardaukans out on the field. Probably going to get shot up with the crossbows. I would not recommend charging straight into that just yet. Once the infantry has made contact, it is normally a good idea. But Winged Hussar charging in first could actually open up a hole. Rolls right through the right-hand side, but this central section is still surviving. Shield Maidens. Whoa, what was that? The pike knocks the stalwarts to the side there. Surprisingly, the Shield Maiden did not have much of an impact. Well, not too surprising actually. The charge, Freya's charge, is not really a block break-in ability. You would be surprised that their basic attack probably does just as much block break as their charge. Well, in Common Commander. But nonetheless, we are moving on to the C point. It does look a little bit light after a semi-retreat. I don't know, they kind of like held a small token force and then just got blasted through. The worrying thing here is that they've gotten up through the... Whoa! Not seen this before. The Iron Cap archers with the arrow rain, very cheap, but a very powerful ability. So cheap range could create a lot of value. The unfortunate thing here is that I'm not seeing very much coming out from the defenders. The defenders have units left, but it's just like a lot of low tier units coming out. This Medow also very good. Lots of halberdiers. Halberdiers formation should be pretty solid, as it will be very difficult. Whoa, Winged Hussar coming storming through. Does slow down massively as it crashes right into a pike line. It slows down massively. Whoa, the grape shots deployment from the attackers is insane. We just watched 5 grape shots go down real quick. 1 grape shot from the defenders, 2 grape shots from the defenders actually. So this is a fight for every inch right now. They are not making headways through this, but they do seem to have been killing off most of the defenders. The defenders' lines are breaking through, still forcing their way through this B section. Luckily, they're getting past this choke, and at this present time, this is kind of like an even fight. Shield Maidens actually came in, cleaned up the rest of them. I think the Medaus have been standing there for most of the fight, but with the Shield Maiden taking the lead, it could be a solid lockdown here on the choke. Do not push. I wouldn't push forward past this point. It is actually really good to hold for the defenders, and they also have some shields able to keep in place the attackers. Some mortars now being deployed. All of the grave shots being destroyed. Good, 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 good. The defenders pulling back is a worrying sign. Surprisingly enough, a Treb did seem to take out a lot of those iron caps. Not to worry though, they're pretty cheap, but I'm pretty sure that they got all the value. Really wish I could see some of the stats on some of the units. But nevertheless, both sides are looking pretty worse for wears. Heavy losses on both sides. Attackers are looking a little bit fresher, but they're going to have to really pull their weight for the defenders. But key units could turn the tide very easily. One tier 5 ahead, and probably 2 tier 4s ahead. I believe that MFLM could easily recover. The only problem is that they're not fighting for the C point here. Could see a massive pile just rush towards the base point after this, as MFLM has moved forward to a strange position. Oh, Imperial Spear Guards taking a massive hit. Double shields coming out. The Iron Cap Spearmen doing an absolute work keeping the enemy off of this point, surprisingly, and losing their guys one by one. MFLM is probably looking at some permadeath, probably going to come in very shortly. Shield Maidens, again, I don't understand why they take the long route. There is no one in their way towards the base point, but Shield Maidens in the back. Whoa, we have Iron Reapers out for the attackers. Iron Reapers just smacks the Shield Maidens. Could finish them off completely, but I'm pretty sure the Shield Maidens should be able to do some damage. But never mind that. The base point is under attack, and I do think those short swords really turned the tide there. Down to nothing. Leading a lot of heroes from the defenders spawn in with nothing. And the Malkinetic Gunners just setting up right there on top of the stairs. Haven't even fired a shot yet. Are they out of ammo, or they're facing the wrong way? Put them on attack mode. And there we have it. Shots are flying around, and MFLM should just be playing the floor simulator as they get pelted into the ground. Oh, short sword gonna go for it. Does block it up very easily. Just have one person on it. But the supply point is gotten. The Medaus and Loyal Guards are running towards this base point as desperately they try to get onto it. But unfortunately, the formation and just the hero killing was just enough for JH to take the win. Some good, some bad, but overall, I think a great performance from both teams. The split push somehow working out. I think the defense definitely lacking in some strategy. They kind of have a failure of adapting or counting how many troops or how many, and I'm pretty surprised that they lost the initiative at the B side. Not surprised that it was an even fight there at the A side. In the end, I do think when it counts, MFLM just concentrating on different avenues instead of the most important C point. So you had a lot of good troops, but you just didn't have them together to bring them to bear. In the end, congratulations, JH, on your attack. We're going to see you on the defense now. So I wish them luck. Also, MFLM, we're going to have to shape up on your teamwork. Gotta work together. You can't keep going in one at a time, nor can you keep being separated. And yes, I eat a sandwich by cutting it with a knife and fork. But again, I'm gonna say this. I'll be very surprised if anyone actually picks up the Murmillos. I mean, they will do some serious damage to the stalwarts, and they're pretty much no slouch when they charge against most things, I would believe. So, to explain very briefly why the Murmilones, I believe that the Murmilones are now in another class. Basically, the buff recently has made it so that when they charge, their next attack is also another charge. So there's two charges in one. They double the burst potential. And the thing about this is that the first charge, really strong, hits hard, won't exactly kill anything. The second charge hits just as hard, but now that you've knocked all of these units on top of each other, you're going to hit them again, and you're going to hit more, just in general, like, a second hit makes them auto-target, instead of running in a direction and maybe target. So, we're already, I mean, like, just a brief play with the new Murmilos, I can say, very strong, and you should be terrified to see these guys, because your shield wall can get eviscerated, could just be scattered everywhere. The most important thing here is that there is like in the CBL, there is nothing you can do from stopping them from throwing your units everywhere. Because once they start charging, you either have to eat the charge, dodge the charge, and even if you do, they'll come charging at you again. And that's why Seregs, when they got buffed, also did kind of like very well. But that was also coupled with the fact that they charged up to 3 times. The unfortunate thing here is that Seregs versus the Murmilones, they do the exact same thing. Murmilones actually have a lower charge, shorter charge. So, Seregs could see, like, Seregs have never really been the greatest of units, but they were meant to counter shields, and now you have a shield unit that counters shields, so, I mean, I knew that was going to happen. It's just unfortunate that Seregs themselves are just not very strong at doing it. I really wish they find a way to buff Seregs. I think buffing the basic attack would probably be a smart move. Have their basic attack just be stronger somehow. Either just increase the base damage to be the same as charge. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, I'm just adding more damage. I don't want to add more damage into their charge, since their charges are actually fairly sufficient. And their follow-up charges are very powerful as well. Still seeing an over-reliance on stalwarts, even though there probably is a possible counter now. The Shield Maiden pick may use the flexibility to outflank and outmaneuver a lot of the shield wall, but in a direct confrontation, the Shield Maidens will lose in attrition. But that's only in attrition, not really decisive either. So we could see the Shield Maidens win in the end. They generally have more damage and more tankiness, surprisingly. Well, no, it's their flexibility. They're fast. They have more damage coming out. And also because Cuff Commander, they're just more flexible. You could use other things like the Guardian, the Charge, the Shield Smash. Just use Cuff Commander. All you need is Cuff Commander. What's the point of the other stuff? Worthless. A bit of a split push again. Again, not sure why people always go for splitting. Sometimes it's better just to have all your forces on one front. Especially since if your main force is at the A point, you really don't want to have anyone at the B point because it's going to really be difficult to get any value out of here besides a little bit of distraction, and not to mention they just pull a new unit if you kind of trade units and they go straight to A if you lose. Even if you win, you're kind of just interrupting a flow of troops, so you're just going to just end up just eating the hard stuff. I think this is a little bit ill-conceived cannon. Those grape shots not going to work out very well. I feel like it's not going to work out very well, but they're not destroying the gate, which is the weirdest thing. Alright, the A side gate is getting pushed right now. Getting destroyed, I mean. Front gate battering ram is 14 seconds from decaying. Have a little bit of scout here on the B side wall. A side wall, front gate is open. We got the stalwarts leading the way, as they should. They are shield units, but they also are very offensive at the same time. Whoa! Going through the gate, going through that way. Whoa! Immediately into axe mode! No chill at all. Immediately loses 3 of 4 of the Varangian guards, trying to pull them back. The loyal guard here in the back gets completely decimated. A good pickup, I would say, even if you lose a couple. That wasn't actually terrible. But here comes a little bit... Oh, nice flank. Just needs to turn correctly. But on the side there, the stalwarts kind of just fail. Massive pile of Varangians and Shield Maiden just decimates the loyal guard pile. Very unfortunate. A straight battle and win for the tier 5s. Tier 5s breaking their shield wall. Really need some cutters such as halberdiers or the border rushers to really deal damage. But the unfortunate thing here, shield maidens are just going to rock their way through the enemy right now as they cut them down. I'm not a particular fan. Oh man, good treb though. Super aggressive. They could see a counter very shortly, although it does look like MFLM is not responding. I would have had those halberdiers facing towards these shield maidens. I would have egged them on into attack. If not, I would have trebbed them at the very least. So JH doing it very well for themselves. I didn't even realize that they were also attacking here on the B side. Heavy losses for... does look like heavy losses for the attackers. And just in general, they did start off with more tier 4s. Already looking pretty light. Advantage is to the defenders, I would say. Running around with probably almost even, actually. But more tier 5s means that they do have an advantage. Winged Hussards coming down straight. Oh, wait, no, those are not Winged Hussards. Those are Portaliers. I've been baited. We have some Liao Rangers catching some Daggerrack Lancers. Very good catch, to say the least. Or pulls the charge because didn't want to go into that Pike Militia. A good formation. Shield Maidens holding the front here as the... Oh, now relieved. Oh, never mind. The Water Rush actually holds against the Winged Hussars, but the... Oh man, there's a lot happening, and wow, I'm surprised that Cataphract actually came in on from that angle. Unfortunately, it's not working out for the attackers right now. They are slowly getting drip-fed. They are slowly drip-feeding troops into the defenders right now, and they are eating it up. A nice Cataphract charge finally makes a headway straight on through, killing off quite a bit, I would say. The attackers actually making lots of headway right now, killing off so much of the tier 5s that they've basically caught up and dwarfing the advantage that previously were held by the defenders. A nice catch right now. JH is just semi out of position as most of them just clocks out and dies. Probably moving on to the final defense point. We are looking at some pretty scary lineups, I would say. What's pretty scary is I'm just noticing that one of their members have both of their important units dead. Some of their, like, one of their members actually have... Oh, never mind. Wow. Okay, doing okay. So, still able... Oh, Jesus. MFLF had no chill right now. Halberdiers should kill off a couple of medals, not exactly trade. Or maybe about half. Almost take out half of the medals there. Winged Hussars slow trotting over those shield maidens. Very tragic, but shield maidens are still alive and will cut down the couple of those Winged Hussars. Where are you going, Liao Rangers? Come back and kill these heroes. The shield maidens are not particularly easy to deal with in cover commander. Better off killing the hero. And as you can see, a lot of surf units being deployed, but the C point now being under attack. The C point being under attack with only a token force. With only a token force defending it, it's going to get completely overrun. And right now, because they have the supply point, the defenders are too busy trying to get new units or distract the enemy that they don't even realize that they are losing a lot of ground because they cannot re-establish themselves. And getting a bit distracted here in the center with massive piles of surf just killing each other just then. This would be a bad move for, or maybe not. Able to get the supply point back really quickly. But I would move straight back to the base point unless I see this. I would have fought. I don't know, man. 7 minutes ago. Sometimes when you see a wave of enemies, sometimes you just want to retreat, and that is what's happening. As the defenders realize that they probably don't actually have any good units out right now. Completely outnumbered. We could see. Oh, what a cancel! He canceled his second charge there. He's trying to kill the mole there. He does manage it. Lots of surf. These Halberdiers is going to face the wrath of stalwarts, but unfortunately they get blocked by a nasty Thunderstruck. No charge from the Iron Caps. Surprised that the Murmillows not make. The Murmillows died. Like half the units died there. Stalwarts just getting cooked by the. Oh, not cooked, but oh no! Take that back. Cooked. Those did belong to the defenders there. Like, I didn't believe that the Ezekiel militia were theirs, but it's definitely keeping them alive right now. I don't know why the Pike militia are facing that way. Here comes some Cataprax, charging uphill though. Not a very good, good Treb. Should kill a lot of the surf units, as the surf units should not really survive at more than one Treb. The Halberdier Sergeant in that mix is finally been taken out. We got the Pike Militia still for the defenders. The defenders are doing a really good job at delaying for time, but the only problem is that the attackers are just so aggressive. They kind of have not let up. And in this case, we're running into an issue where the defenders actually have no more units. This would be one of the first times in a while where both teams have just been throwing units at each other. That being said, there is a stalwart being held back with some halberdiers. They kind of... Whoa! Where did this maiden come from? Porto Braccio as well, deploying their final elites into the battle. Where are you going? Oh, Cataprax are going to come through. If he dies, that's going to be tragic. Cataphract does... Oh no, he died! Cataphract just... Oh, charge did not come through properly. Winged Assads rolls right over the stalwarts, and the remaining of the high tier troops right now is in favor of the defenders. The defenders are going to hold with Fort Brassio's a couple of shield maidens, like 3 shield maidens. That Winged Assad charge really turned the tide there, killing off most of the stalwarts. Really key, but I can't say definitively whether or not the defenders have the absolute advantage, because there's 4 minutes left to go. The attackers could definitely drag this. Could definitely drag this for the finish. I mean, push for a finish. They have a little bit more numbers, so could overwhelm the heroes one by one. And the heroes are diving in. What is your plan? You killed off one of the short swords. They must be aiming. They must be aiming for certain heroes to cause permadeath, but I'm not sure if anyone's actually permadeath yet, as there are some Shenji. Now the heroes are dying one by one. That is not a good look. That is not a good look. How many heroes are left? I believe it's 8. From what this thing tells me, it's 8. Okay, I need to press... Okay, for future reference, I need to press tab to make the numbers up there update. And the units are super close. Super close. And it's just tier 1s. Mostly tier 1s, actually. There's a couple of stragglers from other tiers, but I don't see the tier 2 coming out from the attackers. Still got the Shenji. You've got 5 artillery left. Where's all of the grape shots? The grape shots just be coming out like crazy. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go. The defenders are on their last leg right now. But the attackers are really just putting a lot of pressure here on the base point. But surprisingly, the units, again, like, we got the Mez Pikemen here. Mez Pikemen holding. Surprisingly, the heroes haven't died yet. Like, for about 30 seconds now. Finally, another one from the defenders die. They were juggling that so well. But maybe it's because of the low kill potential. Looking at so many heavy armors from both sides, low kill potential. Low kill potential, but it quickly swings back into the attacker's favor. The rest of the Border Ratio comes out and may be able to kill a couple of Shenji. How many left are we looking? 3 heroes left for the defenders. Not gonna... Oh, there must be a lot of permadeath, and to be honest, that's going to be very unfortunate. And it was starting to look like that the defenders had permadeath coming in, and the live thing here is actually not working properly. Or when it says 1, it actually means they're dead. So that was a fairly aggressive push. I do think an aggressive play from the defenders as well. All in all, it was quite interesting to see teams burn units like that, especially when it comes down to just serfs. And this is also very important. Like, sometimes battles do come down to the wire, so losing serf early doesn't really, like, can really like, serfs can be really important for the very end. But surprisingly enough, we have 12 hero kills coming out from one of the pike users from MFLM, doing wonderful for himself. Lots of hero kills, but unfortunately just not very many unit kills. But one of the other guys picking up the slack at 1300. I mean, like, 688 is actually not terrible. It is actually really good, but I mean, in comparison, it's kind of like night and day. 12 hero kills versus like 688 leadership. So well done, both sides, both winning their attacks. We're going to come down to a field battle. I do think both sides have a preference um, for a particular type of playstyle. I do think MFLM will have more cavalry and could see a, a winged hussar, more winged hussars come out um, from JH. JH coming out with the winged hussars really seeing some really good winged hussar charges make do some um, kick some serious ass, especially watching them roll right over stalwarts. My favorite pastime, but it is just funny. It's just like, you know, when when the whole like snowstorm came out. The whole snowstorm thing. There was a massive. There was several changes that did happen, but one of them was really funny. They coded the battle charge of the Alphaladiers to be too long. So what was happening was that the Alphaladiers could charge at Fortibraccios, and they would trade. They would almost trade like 1-to-1. That was really funny. And most lance cavalries charging into stalwarts, at the time they were called loyal yards, but like charging into stalwarts, like stalwarts coming right off of season 4 from Legacy of Fire, and charging in cavalry into those guys, actually a really stupid move because they would actually kill most cavalry coming at them. And there was a stance change bug, or to say it's still around, it's just very difficult. It's just very difficult to make use of. So what I mean by that is, at certain refresh times for the server, you can brace and ignore certain effects. It will when units go into certain animations, it kind of overrides a bunch of things. And so when loyal guards were bracing just as cavalry were about to charge them, they would stop, they would kill the entire cavalry and not take barely any damage. And that's just I mean, like, I like how stalwarts work as kind of like a semi-anti-cavalry unit. And it's true, it's a semi-anti-cavalry unit. They don't stop cavalry wholesale like pike units, but they can definitely stop cavalry. I've used them, and some of the old text for spear sergeants state that spear sergeants and spearmen can also stop cavalry. But again, limited capacity in comparison to pikes, and not to mention the bonus damage is kind of the real thing that's killing Cav right now. Not that like Cav was particularly hard to kill sometimes. Sometimes it's just literally in charge, and it's just like the developers have a really strange way of how they design things. They make the cavalry super squishy and like easily dealt with when in their normal state. But while they're charging, they make it the most difficult thing to stop, to kill, and to just straight up deal with. And it's just like really funny because you got like the charge doctrine, which gives 50% damage reduction and so much damage resistance while charging for a lot of units, and it's mostly to range, but in the end it's just like they just make the unit while charging very tanky. in comparison to like their normal state, which can be like very easy to kill with certain units. Like, don't get me wrong, some cavalries are particularly tanky. Coming in with the camels now, the camel lancers are extraordinarily tanky. Originally, the monastic knights were one of the most difficult units to deal with. They were no, the original Iron Reapers on horses was the Fire Lancers. Then the monastic knights came in and they were like souped up Iron Reapers on horses. Nevertheless, here we are on a field battle. Exciting to see, exciting to watch. Lots of infantry from both sides, though. Not very much cavalry. MFLM did expect to see some cavalry come out. Mostly Liao's, so that's no surprise there. The Wing to Tsar's choices, man, I'm hoping you get some really good charges, but Chevalier's, good choice. I think I think Chevalier's would be a way better choice. Kind of outnumber the enemy, outflank the enemy. If you've got to select a unit type, pick a unit type that really covers more than one area. So Chevaliers can cover up their weaknesses by again having another unit with them. Mostly it's just the different unit types being the Chevaliers and the crossbows. They kind of work like a pseudo houndsman, where the hounds are actually the main unit and the archers are the secondary unit, while the houndsmen have the archers as the main units and the hounds as the secondary. What I what I'm worried is both these teams are really not going to know what the hell they're doing on a field battle. Um, Talking about houndsmen, there is a houndsman being deployed by MFLM, and it's not a particularly good unit, to say the very least. Out of all of the ranged units that you could have picked up, really, the houndsmen? They're probably better against non-brace style units, particularly since brace style units kind of gets the hounds killed really fast. The shield maidens are just going to walk straight in. The halberds could just slash them through. The Liao Rangers actually wipes an entire halberdier there. Two halberdiers get taken out, and right now pushing the lead is MFLM. Does lose the hero. Just staring at each other. Imperial Pike Walk goes off against the leftover, but it does make it towards the Fortraccio, kind of cleaving that section. Annexing these Fortraccios could easily clean those guys up. Houndsman here on the side, shooting directly at the stalwarts, and I just noticed, well, very surprised that the shield maidens kind of just curved their way through. They kind of cut in through that center here, pulled back, and somehow like took that loyal guard out from the center. I'm very confused. I'm very confused at how that where are these shield maidens going and fighting right now? The stalwarts here are having a bad day, unsupported. I think the shield maiden pushing towards this I'm not sure, barricade was ill-advised. Good thing they didn't go straight into those medals. Medals are not particularly the easiest thing to kill. Brutal though. Liao's try to come in, finish him off. Shield maidens finish off some pike militia, but nicely done with the medals. Takes out the Wing Stars coming straight on through. Clocks the stalwarts in the side there. Unfortunately, I don't think they're gonna get out. I think most of them will get out actually. They got stopped by this barricade, surprisingly. The stalwarts is kind of left by its own. Gonna get some flanked in. Halberdiers are not set up. Oh, maybe. Halberdiers are not set up though, unfortunately. Damn. I think they were kind of set up. It's just that the Liao Rangers kind of knocked them out of it, and then finally getting finished off by the shield maidens, whatever remains of them. kind of coming in piecemeal again. MFLM really needs to make a proper assault. Otherwise, just running troops at each other is just gonna run you dry of resources. And we got 8 whole minutes of this. But as pushing Kira around his grandniece. No, not grandniece, granddaughter. Kira had a daughter, that would be grandniece, I think. That even makes sense. No, that probably doesn't even make sense. Oh. Oh. The charge by the Chevaliers actually was super successful. It kind of rolled over most of the Demez pikemen and kind of hit the shields and the Metallators, the Bacanetti gunners. Again, names keep confusing because I keep changing between the names. I really got to get used to just one name. Right now, just Medal just staring at each other, and gotta keep pressing 1 and 2, otherwise your Medals are not going to be very effective. Gets completely wiped out here at the B point. Surprisingly, that they haven't really chosen to make headway on any of the other points. They're just kind of duking it out for the B point. The stalwarts here, not really paying attention to his flank. This shield raiders are just going to go straight around. Go for it. Who's going to stop you? This... Whoa! Chevaliers rolls on through though, kind of barely missing those stalwarts. Actually get the back half of them. Where's the crossbowman? Did they lose the crossbowman? Very strange. So the front line gets completely decimated. Very unfortunate. I mean, these shields will probably protect them from other range fire, but a cavalry straight at that pile will gonna get dead. So yeah, it does look like just generally, the crossbow units keep getting killed. They're not as deadly as... It's not as deadly as kind of on live, mainly because they don't have access to the double shot doctrine, which the double shot doctrine, although it's an ability, the effect it has onto crossbows with the Chevalier's effect is kind of massive. It adds 1 bolt during skills, and it basically doubles attack power. I mean, it doubles the damage out from the skills while you have the crossbows equipped. So when they charge, they shoot up to 3 bolts. Then, when they use their lance thrust, it's 2. Not to mention they get like 50% attack speed increase, so they're shooting real fast. So the ability itself is like a 300% increase in damage output. Well, at least someone's... Well, I mean, they've been using artillery against each other their entire time. The unfortunate thing here is I can't really say... Oh man, JH has way more tier 5s, but the tier 4s from... Tier 4s from MFLM could could get some advantage back. The actual difference is actually very small. It might actually come down to the how well JH uses their tier 3. Their tier 3s really need to come into play and knock out some of their tier 4s at the very least. It all comes down to the final. So, although I do think there's slightly more units or higher tier units for JH, MFLM is not completely out, but the start of this is not looking great as the Medal just chopped that central line. Medal versus Medal and the Imperial Spear Guards plus the other Medal for MFLM just getting clocked out. Charging into the back with the Owls, not effective as it gets completely decimated. by, I think, Madow's. Whoa! Quick Star's charge at nothing, just kind of whiffing that as they just kind of finish off most of the infantry here at the front. Infantry getting completely killed, and this might be the most smartest move I've ever, this might be the most smartest move. The unfortunate thing here is that he's got no backup. Where's the rest of your folks? At least a contingent of 3 guys, I would say, attack the C point. Unfortunately now, with 3 minutes left to go, MFLM is on the back foot. Gets stopped, in fact. Really need to get those heroes, kill those heroes, get them off this damn point. Otherwise, they're about to lose the A point. They have one person defending with loyal guards, but I'm pretty sure he's just been sitting here the entire time. He has... Oh, he did swap out, apparently. But in the end... Oh, wait, no. Who is this guy? Stop moving. Well, he's about to get some company. JH is hunting down MFLM right now. Absolute advantage for JH, I would say. I don't think the tier 4s remaining are going to be able to contest against the tier 5. Not only do they have to contest against the tier 5, they have to contest against quite a few tier 3s. And just the heroes alone are just causing massive issues for this stalwart right now. They are really... Here comes the Wing Star Charge. Even if it's into a corner, that is still painful. And the A point has been grabbed. Almost. The heroes do delay it just briefly. And they both die. A little bit of a catch here in the center. Pushing towards the B point. Probably ill-advised move. Gonna be super late to defend the A point, as it has already been taken, and the your base point is clocking down. You'll need to get at least 2 points back, but at the current stage, you're just not going to be able to do it. I would just charge. Just charge, my dude. Where are you going? Man, the Murmillos absolutely getting surrounded here. A nice charge right at the Murmillos would have been super cool. Unfortunately, chickened out, I guess. As 50 seconds left to go, we'll probably, the base points will clock out of points before time runs out. But they're pushing on towards the base point right now. And again, just, very confused about how FLM just decides to avoid the fight there.
Dust to dust. The enemy has taken our base.
And there we have it. Congratulations, JH. I do realize now that MFLM was kind of just avoiding the fight for the very end, just wanting to lose. I like to see people try their very best until the very end, but sometimes when you're in that scenario, yeah, you really can't do anything about that. Surprisingly enough, very few deaths coming out from JH. MFLM, again, really trying their best to do a good push, but lots of gaps. Lots and lots of gaps. I'm not probably in the position to really memorize the entire what actually happened in the entire battle. It really was just a little bit of a push for MFLM, massive losses, and you can just see it in the graph itself. A little bit of a loss at the beginning, big losses at the beginning, kind of like a little bit of a pickup for kind of a little bit of a pickup for the turnaround. So they overextended and caught a couple of guys, and then finally the second push starts off really terribly, kind of evens out, kind of fizzles out, catches a few extra units, and then finally when it comes down to the end, you just lost massively. I'm pretty sure that you could have closed the difference here for the final, but you still probably have to deal with the tier threes. Tier threes are not exactly the strongest of units, but they're sufficient. They're sufficient. All right. Well, we're going to go on to the next set of battles shortly in 5 minutes. So I'll catch you guys in five. Well, we're starting the battle between OISU and DON. I'm gonna call them Don. Finishing off a sandwich. Turned off the sound again instead of doing this one. Oh, does look like someone's realized the potential of oyster. Still surprising to see some Varangian guards around. But nevertheless, Varangian guards are still pretty strong. I'm surprised that both teams have very heavy lineups. Like 4 poleaxes, 3 glaives. Other side's got 5 short swords, 3 glaives, 2 poleaxes. Teams that really rely on units to decide the battle, you'll notice that they go really heavy on. I mean, they usually choose the heavy armor classes or those classes that are classic to survive. The the lethality of a team can really also be determined by the classes they picked as well. So, did she vomit? Oh no! We need to get disinfectant. We need to steam clean it. Probably opening up all of the avenues. Oyster. Probably going. Got a good contingent here, about 5 guys. Wouldn't be a terrible setup either. 2 shield maidens surrounding a halberdier unit. I'm surprised that they used the mortars to destroy a wall. Mortars don't particularly do very much damage, even with direct hits. And Culverins do the most damage, cannons second, then mortars last. I mean, even Hawatchers will probably do more damage to a wall than a mortar at this rate. Mortars have been seriously nerfed. I mean, like, their damage used to be much higher, like twice as much as I'm doing right now. I think cannons used to do like 40% more damage. There's some numbers somewhere in the updates when you check back to the snowstorm seasons when they nerfed artillery. I thought it was a very good change. Artillery was, and whoa! You're letting your Ezekiel militia just waltz right in there. What are you doing? Ah, man. High valued unit though. Not very costly, but it's a key unit for a setup. Losing 4 of them, you still got, what, 8 left? Cannot see anything. Holy cow, that is a literal screen wall of smoke. Double shield maidens inside, so pushes is happening. I'm gonna take more of a bird's eye view right now, as I want to see action up close. So once they start kicking it off, I'll zoom in. Shield maidens do take a scenic route, and they go right across the wall. Loyal guards there at the front do graze double. Oh, burning the halberdiers there on the side. Trashed by the cataphracts. What a curve! He's gonna curve it around. Takes out the Vasian, oh my goodness, cavalry just storms right off. I think the infantry engagement was barely any, but the cleanup from the shield maidens is clean. Wow! Wow, that setup was amazing. That setup was amazing. I'm not even sure what Don could have done to stop that from happening. Um, half of Don just clocked out there. 7 guys dead. I'm pretty sure up to 8 guys died there. Oh man. Oh man, they must be feeling the pain. Now getting caught here on the B side, probably a late retreat. Oh, on the wall as well. Randy God, no. The Shield Maiden pile is real, and it's just... Ah, man, I hate seeing it. But it's just one of the things that we will commonly see. It's just not a good sight. In my opinion, it's just very difficult to fight against because the mainstay units, I mean, the frontline units are still the frontline units. They're sufficiently strong as frontline units. Shield Maidens are not the best at contesting frontline units, but their flexibility really allows them to be a jack of all trade, master of none kind of deal. And being a tier 5 that has basically no equal in the tier 4 category. And this is the most important thing. Is just like the point is that they have no equal in the tier 4 category, meaning that that to say that, I mean, they're the worst tier. They're worse as a shield unit. They're worse as... Well, they're worse as a shield unit. They're basically way better as a sword and shield unit, though. They don't charge, though, which is one of the most important things, and they just use cover command. So, they're basically a tier 6 sword and shield unit that is so strong they don't even need to charge or have any other abilities. Or, how to put it, equate. Someone says they're prefecture guards, but always in drill and in tier 4. I mean, sorry, in tier 5. And that's just the unfortunate thing. Massive retreat, doesn't even defend C. Lots of time, 10 minutes going to be hold up here on the base point. It's not a terrible move to wait for the base point. Base point does have advantages, and that's mainly due to the avenues the attackers normally come through. When defending the C point, you gotta watch out for some difficulties from the left-hand side, but also a double interest attack. The cleft here has been a weakness, mainly for the defenders, because they have to defend this point as well as the C point, and whoever controls this space here, or I mean, like, the attackers normally control this space here, so they get sandwiched between the C defending force and the resupplying supply point forces. So it's really good to defend here, these two places, but you could just get blasted right through for the C point, and you just end up defending the supply point too much. So the attackers got to control this intersection eventually, in order to resupply the defenders at C. Double shield maidens in the back could cause havoc. A single shield maiden is already a nuisance, but a double set of shield maidens could be a nightmare. Murmillo's charge is basically as good as a Reaper charge. They basically ignore block, will do massive damage, and... Oh, you are very brave, my dude. Did not take as much damage as I thought they would. Immediately trashes the shield maidens with a double charge. Murmillo's go, go, go. And that's what I'm talking about. Some good setup. Locking in those heroes. Make sure they don't get away. And the Murmillo's just rinses out those shield maidens. But kicking off for a massive fight here. Murmillo's coming out for Osu. The horn has been sounded, and the Daggerite Lancers are riding out, trying to crunch that north section. They successfully breach it, and the infantry win, but the center section is still in favor of Oisu, and does get pushed out by a nice wing massage charge, finishing off just a shield unit. I don't think the Halberdiers had very many left as the Daggerite Lancers kind of just punched right through this green area section and wrapped around. But I do have to say that very nice counter cavalry. Unfortunately, both sides are now at a heavy loss. Heavy losses for both sides, coming down to probably going to be a lot of serfs. Going to be probably a lot of serfs. After the first push, I was on the opinion that Don would be on the ropes. They would seriously need to seriously catch some good units out. And catching the shield maidens, cool me. Whoa me, 2 whole shield maidens for free basically. That is some nasty. That is serious work. Grabbing up those shield maidens for basically free. And even before the battle starts. So immediately you would know that 13v15, 13 is going to get crushed. And that's what happened for the base point here. And it was a massive win for Dawn to catch out those shield maidens. If they didn't catch out those shield maidens early, they could have had some heavy losses. But surprisingly, the front line didn't. The front line able to delay just enough for a reform of the lines, or at least a response. I mean, the Daggerite Lancers coming in, even against Halberdiers, will be fairly costly, but nevertheless, they were successful. Mass cavalry breaking through spear lines is not a terrible idea. Oh man. Although the second charge is just as deadly. Oh, it's almost getting crunched there. Daggerite Lancers, what are you doing? What was that? Well, they would charge through, but looks like they switched to cover commander, or the United Charge at the very end. Winged Hussars charging all the way through. Don now looking very weak. Winged Hussars smashes into the Imperial Spear Guard by getting stopped by something. I'm not even sure what was stopping them. Why? Oh man, why does it look like Don is all of a sudden very, very, very weak? Thought they had a shot at defending, but unfortunately the piecemeal of units coming in one at a time could not sustain the line. And Oyster taking the base point fairly... Oh, man, maybe... Murmillo, get in there! Yep, 3 minutes, 30 seconds left to go. And the Chevaliers probably going to survive for a little while. Swapping out the short swords, doing yourself wonders, I would say. Surprisingly, the Chevaliers actually won. Getting charged by the Winged Hussars, and even the leftover Daggerite Lancers could not finish off the Chevaliers. But a Shield Maiden out on the field now, so whatever's going to come towards its base point is going to get hammered. Chevaliers come in through the back. Really need to take out those Winged Hussars. That Winged Hussar could be a nightmare as it charges, getting ready to charge again. What? Nope, he just walks them through. That was a charge from a different unit, Corteliers. Corteliers is a very short cooldown charge Lance Cavalry. Ah, man. Super good setup from Ois at the very beginning. I love the aggression, and I love the cavalry charge, sorry. How that cataphract just wraps in through the first section, cuts, oh, not cut, just wraps around the fence, comes through the halberdiers, and it gets burnt. Do mind that they just got hit by fire pots, and they just whacked right through that halberdier, comes around into behind, and you got Winged Hussars coming from the front. Oh man, it was just a train like an actual train. There is so much happening coming in from different directions. And this is one of the cool things is when people come in from really cool directions. And as you can see, very good performance from both sides, catching a good win. Don, again, massive victory for catching those Shield Maidens, really dominating in the second one. Unfortunately, the losses were just a little bit too high, leading to a disadvantage for the final. Um, you really need to bring all your forces to bear all at once. I think the piecemeal, sending in one troop at a time, was the um, really what killed your defense there on the base point. On the second go, that is. First one, you were lucky to have a numbers advantage from the get-go. But nevertheless, we're going to see a second battle. This time, Don's going to be attacking. Going to be very interesting to see how Don attacks, since both teams seem to perform fairly well. Still waiting on the rest of the members to hop in. It's always really funny, I think. We somehow always come back to the fact that cavalry is OP. Somehow. Some way. Cavalry is just going to come back, and it's going to be as strong as it ever was. People will just learn how to use cavalry better. And that's true. But I mean, like, the developers don't want to kill cavalry either. And I don't want to kill cavalry either. I want cavalry to be strong, but not in the way they are right now. And that's just my opinion. I think the whole steamrolling through entire armies is practically, unfortunately, unfair. Um, does look like the ready has been called. We're going to be seeing the OBs. I mean, we're going to see the readies. Oyster is ready, and does look like Don is also ready. I'm going to see second battle of Oyster versus Don. I'm going to be kind of excited, actually. I first time seeing the Murmelones really popping off, really smacking, really giving those shield maidens what the 1-2 right there. Big smack into the face, and that um, I'm pretty sure that other teams should pick it up pretty fast. That Murmelones are a go-to unit, definitely a go-to unit to counter the current shield meta. And that's what we've always really lacked, a really good anti-shield unit. Surprisingly, it's an anti-shield unit, so funny, right? Nevertheless, here we are on Heilong Fjord just again. So, what do we have here? We got a couple of tier 5. Surprisingly, Don going out with lots of tier 4s. I did notice that there was a lot of tier 4 selection from both sides, in fact. This case, Oyster going about 50-50. Only one Murmalones, two Murmalones. Surprisingly, a lot of Halberdiers. Halberdiers will come in handy when there's lots of Liao Rangers. I think what you need to be careful of when you have a lot of Pike is when there's just a lot of shields, and particularly when there's even just one shield maiden around. That shield maiden can really mess up any number. It's just like they take minimal damage when dealing with halberdier units. In fact, even medalls really just do not do any damage to them. So Murmalones, Varangian guards will probably do the best choices um, when dealing with both shield maidens and stalwarts. Stalwarts have kind of always just been a unit that is very strong for several reasons, but because they require kind of a setup, they do fall flat when the moment that you're not facing them. They're basically impossible. They're basically like impossible to kill face on. I mean, even Varangian guards are really struggling. I don't think Murmaloes would struggle that much, and would definitely show them what for, by charging straight into their line. So it's just very surprising how Booming Tech has balanced the units, really chalking it up to a lack of understanding for some things. I love that the fact that Momalone is finally fulfilling the whole charge shield um charge thing, but still don't dislike a lot of other things. I don't like the fact that they knock back while in formation. That's always just been a shield maiden thing. To me, it has always been a shield maiden thing. Originally, it was also like the Imperial Spearguard as well, but the Imperial Spearguard was very inconsistent, and they do it more in Cover Commander, and now they've been relegated to a Cover Commander unit. It's just like, sometimes I'm just very concerned about how they do things. So a lot of mortaring here. Don seems to want to gain an advantage before pushing in. I do think that they think they need to take this slow because it could easily be handed to Oisu. And Oisu has shown that they're really good at setups. The setups from Oisu can be quite devastating. This setup here is very interesting because loyal guards are going to come in. Sorry. The Stalwart just gets completely eviscerated for no reason. So I say that, and it's just like, what are you going to do now? So, overlapping phalanx right now, but the Shield Maidens, 3 sets of Shield Maidens are going to cut this into pieces. You will get a couple of... Oh, wow! Actually, just managed to mangle an entire Shield Maiden just there. I think one of the Shield Maiden controllers died, and cavalry just coming out the wazoo just cleans that pile up real fast. But here on the main line, Wigasar just comes crashing through. The Halberdiers race up after getting thrown. Wigasar's come in and slaps the side. I think it was kind of like a semi-miss there. Lots of dead cavalry from both sides here, but holding strong. Do I hear ballistas coming out from both sides? What the hell? The Varangian guards are just one of the units as well that you just let loose. Switch into axes. Oh man, you have to be very careful because these guys can continue to fight that heal. But I have been noticing that there is a the lockout is allowing moments of weakness. Friendly fire there. Go, Don! I mean, go the Varangian. Hit him! Oh! Ah. So, going back into the artillery phase, I do think both sides have just been kind of skirmishing for the last minute or so. Oyster making some good efficiency trades though. Finally, someone decides to take out those mortars, since Oyster's mortars have been more effective than Don's. Don's looking at the B section again. I'm not even sure what happened here. Village Watchmen are not particularly great, but they do get one Liao. So here we are, lots of formation right now. Ball throwers surprisingly throwing over this little edge here. Wingdissars comes roaring. What did you get stopped by? I'm sorry. Second Wingdissar coming through. Get stopped as well. I don't even know what stopped them there. I don't even know what's hitting that's stopping them. Must have been charged too long. Something like that. That can be a thing. Loyal guards get flanked by some halberdiers. Oh, they set up and the halberdiers just gets eviscerated. Oh no. Shield Maidens apparently managed to get into the artillery line, and it's a real struggle now to finish off the artillery plus the users. That did look like the glaive and the musket both came in. A little bit desperate, are we? I would definitely be desperate right now. Don really wants to push, but they just don't seem to be able to get in and last. Shield Maidens? Nerfed? Nah. Shield Maidens didn't get nerfed. They're 10%. They take 10% more damage. Otherwise, nothing happened. That's it. In fact, they got buffed. Technically, Spear got buffed. But honestly, nothing happened. Shield Maiden's nerf is not even a nerf. It's a technicality.
Walk in the park.
I don't even know what the hell those dagger classes were trying to do, but that was kind of weird. Getting locked up like that, coming in with massive amounts of cavalry, Rangian guards kind of just eating the dagger classes that are sitting there. Wingdissars rolling on through, crashes into the pipeline. Actually makes it all the way through. Whoa, where did those cavalry come from? Rear flank by cavalry massively cleans up the entire enemy. Very weak infantry line. Most of the cavalry just coming right in. But once the cavalry have used their charge, they're basically spent. We've got some shield maidens here in the back. Could just get rolled over by cavalry, but if you're on the ground, you kind of don't take cavalry. You kind of don't take cavalry charge damage, which is actually hilarious.
A walk in the park.
Very unfortunate. I mean, really good counterattacks coming in from Oyster.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
The superior team, definitely the superior team, I would say at this point. But both sides, my goodness, both sides put a really good fight right now. But it's just cavalry after cavalry. Unable to deal with the Wingdissars, so this is what's really important. And why you should bring Fortebrachers is just to counter the Wingdissars, or at least something to counter the Wingdissars. Halberdiers will be good enough to counter most other cavalry. Even Liaos shouldn't be too much of an issue as long as it's front on. But when we're coming out from the side and stuff, could be massive issues. So halberdiers are great for against infantry. A little bit of that mix. So if you have a halberdier inside a Fortebrachier, you kind of just close off both those loops, and you just end up with a very strong pike unit. And that's actually pretty accurate to kind of historic formation. You used to have big piles of pike units be flanked by halberds or other weapons types, such as the swords and shields. I mean, like the sabers and swords. Obviously, you would also have the range kind of offset from them on the sides, or like next, like as in like they would be skirmishing around the main formation, and they would just like draw swords, be around the main line, and that's pretty cool. That's really cool that we kind of have this dynamic, but um, I think people I think one of the things that really is hampering in this game is the great fluctuation between shields being too strong, shields being too weak. In this case, I think we're going to go for a little bit in between here, where shields are too strong and too weak. Some shields are definitely okay. No, at this point, the shields are too strong. we're in the stage of shields too strong again. Halberdiers and Fortebraccios, whoa man, getting really close to being really strong, but like stalwarts, my goodness, they're crazy. Now with the changes to the Murmalones, that is gonna kick your ass into oblivion. And that charge is nothing to scoff at. I mean, it's fine losing a couple guys, but the second hit, the auto targeting from the second hit just is so much better. So much better. For some reason, the performance of the Murmalones didn't double. It kind of tripled, almost quadrupled. A charge that hits once and then hits again, for some reason, is just so much better. And the follow up charge is really what is giving the Murmalones um, giving them the damage and the impact they really needed. But again, it comes at the cost of the doubling the efficiency. So Memelos have essentially received a 100% damage increase to their charge, and their charge is already on a very low cooldown. I think the default is 30 seconds, and you can get that down to like 18 seconds or something on like 14 seconds or something on live service. But nevertheless, I'm really happy to see them. Unhappy to see Shield Maiden still. Very unhappy to see I'm very unhappy not to see Fortebraccios. I think Fortebraccios are such a good unit that really needs to be brought. Halberdier Sergeants, again, could swap them out for Halberdiers for the cheaper variants, depending on how you set up your warband. But all in all, we're kind of fluctuating between heavy shield line, shield breaker types. So we know that cavalry is very effective against stalwarts, so you're bringing in the anti cavalry, but it's just not working out. So you end up bringing some universal units instead, which are the shield maidens, and just kind of avoid the heavy infantry fight and just roll through it with cavalry. Or you have bait units, and those bait units are kind of the heavy shield types. So other heavy shields. Otherwise, you just send in any old infantry and just sacrifice it for the enemy to set up their guys and roll it over. That's what I've noticed for this one. In the end, I loved the display of setup from both sides. The cavalry response was super aggressive. They had absolute confidence in their cavalry chargers, and I'm pretty sure neither side was really prepared in dealing with the cavalry whenever it appeared. And that is kind of like a two-way street where even if you are prepared for cavalry, when you cannot deal with it, that can just be a completely separate thing. Oh, cool. Apparently observer mode. I can use observer mode. I'm not sure if I'm technically allowed to be using this right now. It could just break. It could just break the game, or it have visual issues. But let's have a look. And I might have fucked myself over here, but we'll see how this works once this finishes loading. Otherwise, if it takes too long, I will just close up the stream. Ooh, I think everything finished loading. The observer system seems to be separate, so it kind of semi-records the game, or has the game on playback. I mean, it's a cool system. Also, if they want it, they should really disable it if it's still broken. Yeah. I remember why they say observer mode, you're not allowed to use it. That's because this is still happening. Yeah. Apparently certain assets don't load properly. This is the ECL versus BPJT battle. Second one, probably. That means ECL defended first with BPJT attacking. Surprisingly enough, it doesn't look like much has actually happened. Although, they are looking a little bit worse for wear. It does seem... Yeah, battle already happened. Oh, surprisingly enough, BPJ coming out with some interesting units here. Retiari is one of the units that is very interesting. Monastic Knights, also very interesting. So this is good. A bit of mixture of between the Stalwarts, Waterbrashiers, and the Halberdiers. Really good combination of units. I think just from the brief look of what's out on the field right now. Oh, wow. A little bit of skirmish here with the heroes. Jumping down from the wall, ECL just gets clobbered. Falls back, though. Getting the units in the mix there when it was just a hero v hero. Yes, please. Yeah. Losing a couple of halberdiers. That halberdier unit was already pretty low. So once we're past the wall, all the glitches are mainly gone. It's a bad display, so I'll abuse it just for today, since I haven't really been able to see an ECL versus ECL match. I really wanted to watch these guys sometimes, but I've never really get the chance to. That's because all of their matches are always filled up to the brim. Pushing towards the supply point right now. Surprisingly, cavalry leads the way. BP, whoa! Backline is going to see some serious cavalry resistance, but a mixture of medals and halberdiers should be able to hold that off. Does indeed, but the shield maidens are coming in. Shield maidens were unsuccessful. That was disappointing. Getting pushed out, BPJT falls back. Surprisingly, takes heavy losses. BPJT was probably going to lose on the next assault, but they don't have much time. ECL probably barely has enough time to make a proper assault. 3 minutes is about as much time you need to make a proper assault. Otherwise, you're just rushing in. But you only got about a leeway of about 40 seconds. Does take a long while to start the fight, but BPJT is not even ready, so it's a bit of a rush for both sides, in fact. As ECL gets more units towards the point, they're going to solidify their position, and this choke is actually really bad for the defenders, because it kind of screws the defenders over, because it's a tight choke from two directions, and you can kind of have again, like, see, you have a stalwart facing south, and the halberdier here actually got beaten up, surprisingly, by pike militia. That is very surprising. Kind of just trying to push the claymores through. Claymores will sustain the front line, but once they kind of run out of steam, you really need them to, you really need other units to push in front of them, otherwise they take too much damage. The Monastic Knights do a heroic charge into the center of Medals there, but kind of get slaughtered. More Winged Hussars. This Winged Hussar could be absolutely massive. The Murmillows actually on point will be very difficult to take out. Oh, that's very unfortunate, and they're trying their best, but slowly the advantage is clocking in towards the attackers. ECL is securing the base point. Those halberdiers are really holding the line. And every single hero from BPJ just sacrifice themselves one at a time to barely get enough time. And surprisingly, in the end, does look like a very marginal victory after a good win. So a little bit of victory for the defenders in this case for the start, which we didn't get to see. And then finally, when they were pushing towards the end section here, big victory. Most of the cavalry getting killed off very easily, I would say, for the attackers, ECL in this case. And then finally, this final point just really bad. Both sides were kind of rushing it, but ECL got there first and really just choked out the defenders. The defenders really do not have a choice when defending. Just really just got to get in there, set up. When you're not set up, you just get rolled over. I'm not sure if that will cause a field battle, which I'll probably miss anyway. But I'll see if I can abuse the observer mode for today. Does look like another battle is incoming. So I'll use observer mode for the last battle of the ECL. Does look like BPJT also won their attack. What I'm also very interested is the unit choices. Or maybe I can just get in. I'm gonna see if I can get in. That'd be cool. If there's too many observers, I'll just hop out naturally. I mean, there's too many observers. The last three guys. Now, it's fine. There's 10 observers already. 3 ECLs just waiting to get in. Damn it. Oh well. I'll just abuse observer mode right now. I mean, I'm really happy that they're working on observer mode. Observer mode, like, is spectator mode in general is just really good. Like, there's a lot of things that have been changed though. So the way they presented information is there is more information, first of all. Some of the things, how the layout makes it a bit difficult to know who has what. I think the layout of the old layout when you press tab and seeing everyone, that was a good way of getting a lot of information as simply as possible. I really want them to fix observer mode as well, so that they don't end up they don't have that stupid update issue with the units and stuff. and the heroes where it updates infrequently, or I have to do something to force it to update. I hope I'm not getting told. Oh man, I'm not getting told to not use observer mode. Gage. That was like so long ago. I almost forgot who won. Not starting yet. I'm not talking out my ass. JH did win, right? Oh man, I might actually have to. I'm gonna have to look through my own screen just to make sure that JH won. Man, if I turn out to be wrong, I'm gonna have to apologize to Luna Shark. Not starting yet, which is very surprising. Maybe I'm going to get told off. Yeah, JH won. Yeah, they won on a field battle. Finally ready. Although I am going to be 3 minutes delayed, so really cool to have these observer mode in game. So when I can start observing, it will switch to game over. I have to wait 3 minutes though. But since I'm here, closer to the start, I get to see the whole thing, which is really cool. I like commentating for these things. I definitely really do love watching teams really go at it. I'm just also very hopeful for people discovering things.
Arena
These
time.
guys, I've probably gone off of these guys about 5 times today, like this stream, but man, come on, these guys right now, they should be your top dogs. They are going to be your top performers right now. They obviously heavily rely on their charge. They're going to be absolutely dog shit without it, but trust me, trust me. When when the going gets tough, these guys are gonna break it open. All right, there's the observe. Does look like someone does. Ah, sheesh, my ball. I'm a fish in my bowl. I'm a young, young. I don't even know if those are the words. here we go. We didn't get to see the unit selection phase, which is very unfortunate, but that's probably because I did not load in fast enough. Alrighty, so right from the get-go, it does look like we got an AC push coming up from ECL, very aggressive. BPJT going for a safe C, all C in fact, not even a single person going to B. I would definitely have a person contesting for B. Um, but it does look like they're just going to go on the defensive. They do not want to take the offensive at all, but could be a really great decision if they can defeat ECL here at the C point. But ECL makes a smart decision as well, pulls off their attack towards the C point and goes all in towards the B right now. How the setup here is panning out. ECL makes it to the B point right now and will capture it. I don't think BPJT is ready for a fight like this. Could be leading. Wait! The Culverins, that is... Alright, Culverins are great because if they put down artillery, you can shoot them. But, my goodness. Some of the angling here could be better. But so many Liao Rangers. I think Liao Rangers is overrated. That's just me, though. Holy cow. You have 10 Liao Rangers right now. 10 Liao Rangers, 2 Medals, a Shield Maiden, Cataphract, and a Winged Star. Again, like, I don't even know why people bring Cataphracts anymore. I just bring Daggeric Lancers. Budget version. Now. Whoa! The short sword could eat it here. The stalwarts do take a massive hit. Right now, you're kind of just waltzing right into a anti-cavalry pile. Winged Stars try to go for the back here, but the crossbows do delay them. Whoa! Look at that wave of Liao Rangers just coming right into that. A little bit of a flank here, a little bit of a flank there. Medals are winning out. Too much cavalry. Your front line is gone right now. The Iron Reaper's out for the field for BPJT. And Medals firmly hold this point. We have a good victory and a solid win for BPJT. ECL probably starts off pretty badly there, losing a Liao very quickly. And it could get interesting. Base point is undefended, though. No one's going for thing. They could press the advantage, grab this supply point. Massive spawn coming out from the A point. Very smart move. Not spawning at the base point, but spawning on the A side. BPJ could have done a pitch battle up this hill. Would be very dangerous, but not exactly a bad move. Cutting off the A point, forcing ECL into the base point would have been a crippling move. But nevertheless, ECL goes all in on an A spawn, mass spawn, just probably waiting for BPJT to make a decision whether or not to push their advantage towards the base point, force them to spawn at the base point, and then wrap back around for A point. Nevertheless, we're gonna see a little bit of skirmishing. Got 8 minutes left to go. No base capture, no base point captured just yet, so we're in even Steven. With the B and C point for BP JT, ECL, we're probably gonna have to definitely make up for the losses they just suffered. And I would say their losses were pretty heavy. In terms of just units just left, they're probably at a... Oh man. If I count the tier 3s, that's at least a 7 unit advantage. Could be as many as 14. That means, yeah, could be as many as 14. Depending on how many... Depends if they're going double tier 5s. Which, they did! Double tier 5s all the way around, with only one person remaining with double tier 5s. And that means BPJT probably has a 14 unit advantage right now. That is massive. But do remember that the 14 unit advantage also includes the tier 3 units that they have. So setups with double tier 4s and a tier 3 allows them to have more numbers than usual, but surprisingly their surf units are only a difference of 2. A little bit of skirmishing with the artillery. Unfortunately, it does not tell me how many artillery everyone has, which is a hard number to come by right now. Could see these medals get pushed on. Whoa, winged hussars coming right through. Could be... Oh man, no one to catch it though. Oh no. Does catch the backside on the ground. Iron Reapers do charge point blank, but unfortunately second charge eliminates them. Really pushing on towards this flank here, towards the B side. I'd push my advantage towards the B right now. Otherwise, if you lose towards the base point, even a sliver, you're going to have to get it back. A big sacrifice from those that are keeping them there. The base point is closed out. You're going to have a B push right now. Ah, man, you put yourself in a bad spot. You've sacrificed a section of your own guys. You're going to take the A point. You're going to have to get the A points faster than they can get the B point because they're rushing towards the B point right now, and you're going to have to force them to defend. But the B point has opened up the base point for ECL. ECL could make a desperate push towards the base point and grab a tiny bit, but this is good. This is really good for... What are you doing, Polax? If you die, your medals are going to retreat. You foolish. But the Outrangers coming in for defense could lock up the Outriders for long enough. BPJ is going to probably try to catch as much as they can. Wayne Hussars trading with each other right now. A little bit of win here, a little bit of win there. Monastic Knights getting slaughtered by the Shield Maidens. The Shield Maidens are still alive though. This is the disappointing thing here. Shield Maidens are prone to having enough health and survivability to survive a cavalry charge. They did get finished off there though. Well, one of them. Chipping away a little bit at a time. I think BPJT should keep fighting this center section. It could be a slow death for ECL. ECL is no advantage right now, and it could be really bad. Oh my goodness, that is really bad start. Why did the medals get knocked down like that? Or did they just straight up die? I think the medal might have straight up died. Oh. The Outrangers could do a lot of damage to the medals, but it's just not going to break through the formation line just yet. And ECL might come in with a big flank. Question mark? No. The Outrangers get stopped halfway, not even in the fight right now, and they're kind of backing and forth here. Oh no. ECL is getting... Oh, ECL B point is getting capped, and this is a big loss for ECL right now. ECL is going to get triple cap, and it should close out with basically no units left. There's probably only 2 tier 5 left for ECL, while BPJT still probably got quite a few units left. I don't think that they were able to pull back. No, yeah, they weren't able to pull back the lead. The lead still is pretty hefty, and I think it's slightly widened, in fact. But all that remains right now is to hold on and fight to the last. Surprisingly, the Outriders that are here is still here. They're really good skirmishing. Like, skirmishing units really just do not have a very good impact, but they can be very useful over time. So would like to see more skirmishing units to be more powerful in the future, something like the Retiari. But at the same time, as a cavalry unit, that would be
Child's play.
obnoxious to fight against.
Child's
BBJ
play.
closes out the field battle against ECL with a win. ECL taking a big L with a kind of I don't know, say the fight towards the B point both times just not very good. Bad start for ECL. Loses the Liao straight away. Throws Liao straight into an anti-cavalry pile. Very strong unit. Straight into an anti-cavalry pile though. Even if they're really strong, they traded down. So they traded against if like halberdiers, Madaus. Madaus would probably be able to stand up against two Liaos. They wouldn't be able to kill both of them. Kill one of them at least. But with all of that cavalry sitting there, their own cavalry coming out from BPJT coming in, smashes them into pieces, and in the end continues on to hold that advantage. Just this is one of the things when you're going to have to be really, really, really careful with cavalry, is that a direct confrontation is your nightmare. When you have to charge from one direction, you know that you either it's a do or die situation where you either break through or you don't. In this case, they didn't break through both times. They had to get through a Medal, they had to get through anti-cavalry, and that anti-cavalry is just strong enough where they could not break through. Good cavalry users know how to flank. I'm not saying that ECL are bad at cavalry. I'm just saying that in this case, they just came from the front. You needed to flank, and you needed to flank every time. You had majority cavalry, so why was everything coming from the front? I like that ECL comes in all at once. Like, it wasn't piecemeal. There was a huge swarm of Liao Rangers coming in all at once, but it was just all from the front. It should have been from different directions. A couple of guys tried, a couple of guys failed. I think in this case, BPJT kind of played ECL like a fiddle, because it just seemed like ECL was just falling into the trap. That was just like, you didn't even know a trap was set, but you fell into a trap. You didn't even know that trap was there. You didn't even see that there was a trap, but you fell into it anyway. And secondly, I think they didn't really, they didn't really have staying power, which is really comes down to infantry. The presence of cavalry can be very powerful, but cavalry in motion is more terrifying than cavalry that is sitting still. You never know if they're going to go in, never know if they're going to pull off, run away. Very difficult to catch a cavalry that's moving. Really great to watch, I would say, higher level at the very least, because we've seen a lot of uh, lower quality teams fight off against each other. Classic to see in the scoring phase, but it's nice to see some of the higher level ones. And I'm pretty sure, even as a viewer, you guys should be able to tell that BP, JT, and ECL are both much better teams than what we have seen for the rest of the day. But nevertheless, I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary, and I definitely enjoyed watching today. I really, really love commentating for these tournaments and for the CBL. So I hope you guys enjoyed my commentary, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. So, I hope you guys, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. But other than that, my name's Setsukai. Have a nice day. Bye now.